The stars were quiet that night. The galaxy slept, or so it seemed, but far beyond Earth's edge, near the dark border of known space, something terrible woke up. The mining ship Hope's Edge floated between two small moons. It was not a warship. It had no weapons, only workers, engineers, scientists, and one pilot. They were collecting rare minerals from an asteroid belt. It was a normal mission. Boring, even. Until the screaming started. Earth Command received the signal at 2:13 a.m. Earth Standard Time. The message was broken, full of static, but the fear in the voice was clear. This is Hope's Edge. We are under. Not pirates. Not pirates. They're hunting us. The voice cut off, then returned. Please, don't come. No rescue. Too late. Screaming. Metal tearing. A loud, high-pitched sound like a whistle. Then silence. Nothing after that. Commander Reza stood still in the Earth defense room. The lights were dim. The signal played again on the screen. Officers stared. No one spoke. Everyone knew what pirates sounded like. This was something else. They said not pirates. Reza whispered, "Play the last part again." The screen glowed. The voice whispered, "Please, don't come." Then screaming. The signal ended. Reza turned to the others. Where was the ship last located? Near the far reach zone, said Lieutenant Hale. About 6 light-years past Kepler Station. That's deep, Reza said. Almost out of our charted space. The president was informed. The Security Council met in secret. News didn't go public. Panic had to be avoided. Earth had enemies, but nothing had reached that far. Until now. One option remained. The Valiant. The Valiant was a fast response rescue ship. Strong engines. Good shields. Not a battleship, but close enough. Captain Lin was chosen to lead. Before launch, Reza met Lin at the base. "Don't be a hero," Reza said. "Get answers. If you see anything strange, don't fight. Just return." Captain Lin nodded. "We'll bring back the truth." The Valiant launched in silence. No media. No cameras. Just a black ship vanishing into the stars. Earth waited. Day 1. Silence. Day 2. Still, no contact. Day 3. The Valiant was gone. No signals. No calls. Nothing. Commander Reza stared at the empty feed. We lost them too. People began whispering in the halls of power. 2 ships. Gone without a trace. Not a war. Not a warning. Just vanished. Earth Command sent out a drone. Small. Fast. It carried no people. Only cameras and scanners. It took 5 days to reach the last known location of Hope's Edge. What it found made everyone on Earth sit up. The mining ship was there, drifting, silent, dead. No lights. No movement. The drone circled the ship. It sent back clear video. Deep claw marks along the hull. Parts looked melted, twisted as if burned by heat not known to humans. No escape pods were missing. No signs of gunfire. But inside, one video survived. It was from a crew member named Juno. Her face was pale, her voice shaking. "They're not ships," she whispered. "They're alive. And they know what we are. They don't want resources. They want silence. They want us to stop reaching, to stop spreading." The video ended with a loud screech, like something hit the door behind her. Then, static. Seconds later, the drone's feed cut out. Mid-transmission. Gone. Earth Command now had no doubt. Something out there was watching. And whatever it was, it didn't want to be found. Reza stood again before the same officers. "We've poked something," she said, "and now it knows we exist." A red alert was declared in secret. Military satellites were pointed toward deep space. Civilian travel near far reach was stopped, quietly. News was still controlled, but tension spread through high command like fire. The president called Reza directly. "Are we under attack?" Reza paused. Then answered, "Not yet, but something has already started." In a dark lab under Earth's surface, an old program was brought back to life. Project HELLSTORM, Earth's last defense, only to be used in case of a true full-scale war. No one spoke of peace anymore. The stars no longer felt safe. And deep in space, something watched. The Hope's Edge floated in silence. No one answered. No one moved. It looked more like a grave than a ship. Earth's drone had sent back videos, but then it also went dark. The last image it showed was burned into everyone's memory, a shadow moving inside the mining ship. Too fast, too large, and then static. Commander Reza watched the recording for the 10th time. She zoomed in on the shadow, but it was always blurry. It didn't match anything in Earth's database. Not human, not machine, not friendly. Earth now had 3 missing ships and no answers. But it had fear. At a hidden base under Antarctica, scientists studied the signals and wreckage data. One scientist, Dr. Marlowe, noticed something strange. "These marks," he said, pointing to the twisted metal and claw-like cuts, "they're not random. They look surgical, like something took pieces of the ship on purpose." "Why?" asked Commander Reza. Dr. Marlowe hesitated. "To study us, to learn how we build, how we survive." Reza felt cold. "You think they're testing us, or learning how to destroy us faster next time?" Earth Command moved quickly. All exploration missions were canceled. Civilian spaceports were locked down. Only military ships flew now, and even they stayed close to home. In orbit, a fleet began to form. The warships hadn't moved in years, but now they were fully awake. Reza called a secret council. "We are not alone," she said, "and they've taken 3 ships already. We need to act before they come closer." One general spoke up. "We don't even know what they want." Reza looked him in the eye. "They want silence. They kill everything that moves too far." No one argued. That night, Earth sent a second drone. This one was faster, smaller, and had no return plan. It was made to go deep and send only one signal, yes or no, life or no life. It flew into the mining ship. Inside, everything was wrong. Walls bent in unnatural ways. Doors melted shut. Lights flickered on and off. But there was no power left in the ship. Then the drone found something. A symbol, burned into the wall in long, strange lines. It looked almost like writing, but it didn't match any language. The drone sent a photo and kept moving. It floated past the engine room. The metal there was eaten. Not destroyed, not burned. Eaten, as if something living had chewed it apart. Then came the sound. At first, it was low, like wind through a tunnel. Then louder. A screech. High-pitched, too high for human ears, but the drone's sensors caught it. Then, movement. Something long and thin slithered in the shadows. Not a machine. Not a person. Something alive. It moved like smoke, but had weight. The drone tried to pull back, but the feed went static again. Earth lost contact. Again. Commander Reza stared at the dark screen. That's the 4th. A warning message came from one of the outposts near Mars. A civilian cargo ship had gone missing. Its last signal. Something's following us. 3 hours later, another ship disappeared. This time, a military supply vessel. Earth was being hunted. Reza met with Admiral Grant, the highest-ranking war officer alive. "They're not just watching anymore," she said. "They're moving." Admiral Grant nodded. "It's time." He unlocked an old code. The Earth Defense Network activated its hidden weapon project. Project Hellstorm. 5 deep space war platforms, secretly built over the last 30 years, were powered up. Each one carried weapons too powerful to use near planets. Nuclear blasts, energy rays, pulse bombs. Tools not for war, but for extinction. Earth had never used them. Until now. While the war platforms warmed up, a new signal came through. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't human. It was a message, repeating the same strange symbols burned into the mining ship's wall. Scientists tried to translate it, but it was too complex. But one phrase became clear: you were warned. Panic spread through Earth's leadership. The erasers, this was the name soldiers began using, had spoken in their own way. They had warned humanity, but no one understood. And now it was too late. Far beyond Pluto, deep sensors picked up movement. Dozens of strange ships, long, dark, living, were heading toward the inner system. Fast. Admiral Grant gave the order. Wake up the fleet. Full war protocol. And prepare the Hellstorm codes. Commander Riza stood by the main screen. No more signals. No more drones, she said quietly. This time, we meet them face to face. The sky over Earth was clear, but every satellite, every telescope, every secret radar pointed in the same direction. Deep space. They were coming. The alien ships were still far, but they were moving fast. Too fast. Earth had never seen this kind of speed before. It didn't look like a normal fleet. The ships moved like a pack of hunters, shifting, silent, spreading out. Commander Reza stood in Earth's main war room. How many? She asked. 17 confirmed, said Lieutenant Hale. Maybe more behind them. Admiral Grant crossed his arms. Any signals? Nothing, Hale replied. Just silence. Grant turned to Reza. This is it. Reza nodded. Time for the first move. In orbit above Earth, the 5 Hellstorm platforms came online. Each one was the size of a city, built in secret, hidden for decades. Now, their weapons glowed hot. One by one, the defense codes unlocked. Giant missile doors opened. Cannons aimed toward the stars. Deep in space, the alien ships kept coming. Faster. Stranger. They did not send warnings. No messages. No demands. Just one goal: reach Earth. Earth's war fleet moved to the front line. 20 ships strong. Big, armored, armed with everything humanity had built over centuries. They formed a wall near Neptune. Captain Lynn had survived. She wasn't dead. She had managed to escape with a broken escape pod days earlier. The aliens hadn't chased her. They let her go, as if she was no threat. Now she stood on the deck of the warship Hawkfire, staring at the stars. They're not machines, she told her crew. They think. They plan. And they enjoy fear. Why let you live? The pilot asked. Lynn's face was pale. Maybe to send a message. At 900 hours Earth time, the aliens arrived near the edge of the solar system. Reza gave the command. Fire. The Hellstorm platforms lit up. 10 nuclear missiles flew first, bright trails across the void, followed by beams of plasma and burning energy. For a moment, space itself looked like it was on fire. Then silence. The war room waited. Sensors picked up hits, several. 3 alien ships stopped moving. 2 broke apart. Cheers started. But then, something changed. The destroyed ships moved. Not backward. Not sideways. They healed. Like wounds on skin, the broken parts closed up. Melted metal became smooth again. Holes vanished. One ship even grew longer. What are we seeing? Reza asked. Dr. Marlowe whispered, they're alive. And they're angry. The alien ships didn't return fire with missiles. No lasers. No cannons. Instead, they released something. A black cloud. Tiny at first, then huge. It spread across space like smoke underwater. The cloud reached Earth's ships. One by one, signals went out. The warship Lion's Pride stopped sending data. Then thunderclap. Then midnight sun. No explosions. No sound. Just silence. Captain Lynn shouted, fall back. They're taking the ships without firing. But the cloud was fast. It touched Hawkfire's hull. The metal screamed. Lights blinked. Systems shut down. Then the crew heard it. A sound like breathing inside the ship. "We're not alone," whispered a soldier. Back on Earth, Riza watched the chaos unfold. One by one, their warships vanished into the cloud. Only a few returned fire. Some exploded from the inside. Others simply disappeared. Admiral Grant slammed his fist on the table. "We're being torn apart." Riza gave one last order. "Activate Hellstorm Omega." It was the final weapon. A blast so powerful, it could destroy half a planet. Never tested, never used. "Are we sure?" asked the tech. Riza didn't blink. "If we don't stop them here, there will be no Earth left." From the largest Hellstorm platform, the Omega cannon powered up. It pulled energy from the sun itself, charged for 60 full seconds, then fired. A giant beam of pure destruction flew into the dark. It hit the center of the alien swarm. Everything went white. The cloud stopped moving. The war room held its breath. Then the sensors came back. 4 alien ships were gone. Ash. 3 more were badly damaged. But the rest kept coming. Now faster. Now angrier. And this time, they fired back. One of Earth's platforms was hit by something invisible. It cracked in half. The second was ripped apart by black tendrils that reached out like whips. The third exploded with all hands lost. Earth had never seen anything like it. Commander Riza whispered, "This wasn't a battle. This was their test." Admiral Grant's face was hard. "And now they know what we've got." Captain Lin's voice came through on emergency comms. "They're not trying to win. They're trying to teach us fear." And it was working. The Earth defense room was silent. The screens were filled with flashing red lights, alarms blaring in every corner. Earth's warships were scattered, retreating, or simply gone. The Hellstorm platforms had taken heavy damage. And the alien ships? They weren't stopping. Commander Riza stood, her fists clenched. The Omega cannon had done damage, but not enough. The alien fleet kept coming, faster, stronger, and more terrifying with each passing minute. "Report," she demanded. Lieutenant Hale checked the readout. "We've lost 3 more warships. The cloud, it's spreading faster. We can't fight them head-on." Dr. Marlowe stood near the back, his voice shaking. "It's not just a weapon. It's a presence, something alive, something controlling all of them. The ships, the cloud, even the tendrils. They're all part of something bigger." Riza turned to the screen showing the alien swarm. The creatures or ships, or whatever they were, seemed to grow with every attack. They didn't fight like any enemy Earth had known. They fought with fear. "We need to stop them," she said, her voice cold. "All of them. Now." A message came through from Captain Lin. Her face appeared on the screen, her eyes filled with exhaustion. "Commander, we're at the edge of the solar system. They're too strong. They've crippled our shields, and the cloud is choking us." Riza clenched her jaw. "Captain, fall back. We need all ships back to Earth. We can't fight them here." Lin shook her head. "We don't have time to fall back, Commander. They're coming for the core, the heart of Earth." Riza's eyes widened. "The core." "Yes," Lin said. "Their focus is on Earth's core. I think they're trying to take it. If they do, everything will collapse. Everything." The screen blinked out. Riza turned to Admiral Grant. "We need a plan. Now." Grant's face was grim. "The only chance we have left is Project Hellstorm Alpha." Riza raised an eyebrow. "Hellstorm Alpha? It's a last resort weapon. It was designed to stop, well, everything. The catch is, it's never been tested. Not fully. Test it now. We don't have a choice." In a hidden base deep below Earth's surface, a secret lab hummed to life. The Hellstorm Alpha weapon was brought online. It was a massive device built inside a mountain. The power it would need to fire could wipe out entire cities. But it wasn't just a weapon. It was a sacrifice. Riza watched the lab's progress on the screen. "Tell me, Dr. Marlowe, what's the catch?" Marlowe looked up, his face pale. "Hellstorm Alpha uses the core of Earth's power. It takes all the energy from the planet's core to work. The closer we get to firing it, the more we drain the Earth. If we fire it, we'll lose the planet forever." Riza's heart sank. "But it will stop them." Marlowe hesitated. "Yes. If it works, the alien fleet will be destroyed. But so will Earth's core. So, we win, and we lose," Reza said quietly. "Yes." She stood in front of the large screen, staring at Earth. The decision was made. There was no other choice. "We do it," she said, her voice firm. "Prepare Hellstorm Alpha." Back in space, the aliens were moving toward Earth's core. Their ships spread out, surrounding the planet from every angle. They were nearly there. But Earth wasn't done fighting. The Hellstorm Alpha cannon began to charge. The energy from the planet's core surged into the weapon, turning the entire base red with power. The ground shook. Earth groaned beneath its own weight. The core was being drained. "Commander, we're ready," Dr. Marlowe's voice crackled through. Riza looked one last time at the view of Earth. She thought of her people, the ones still fighting, the ones still alive. "Fire." The weapon fired. A beam of pure white energy erupted from the base, cutting through space like a hot knife through butter. The light was so bright, it could be seen from the farthest reaches of the solar system. It shot out toward the alien ships, straight at the heart of the swarm. For a moment, everything went still. The alien fleet was frozen in time, caught in the beam's path. The ships shuddered, then began to break apart. One by one, the ships exploded in flashes of light. The cloud collapsed into nothingness. The tendrils fell, their dark grip releasing from Earth's warships. The beam didn't stop until the last alien ship was gone. The Earth's Hellstorm Alpha weapon had worked. But the victory came at a cost. Back on Earth, the power began to flicker. The lights in the war room dimmed. Earth's core was gone. The planet began to shake. Riza felt it, every bone, every piece of her body, trembling. Earth was dying. The final message came from Dr. Marlowe. "The core is gone. Earth's heart is still beating, but only for a few hours." Riza's voice was full of emotion. "What now?" Marlowe didn't answer. The connection was lost. Riza stepped outside the war room. The sky was dark. The stars looked distant, far away. A quiet sadness settled over her. Earth had won, but the victory was hollow. The people had lost their home. The war had taken everything. The only question left was, what comes next? The war was over, but Earth was dying. Commander Reza stood at the edge of the war room, staring at the screens. The last of the Hellstorm platforms had powered down. The alien ships were gone, but the price had been steep. The Earth's core was shattered. The planet was slowly falling apart. The lights in the war room flickered. A deep hum came from the base beneath them. The ground trembled, as if Earth itself was mourning. "We did it," Reza whispered. But the victory felt empty. The cost was too high. Admiral Grant entered the room, his face grim. He had been there, fighting every step of the way. But now, his shoulders were heavy with the weight of the planet's fate. "We've won, Commander," he said, his voice quiet. "But there's no Earth left to save." Riza didn't answer. She looked at the screens, her mind racing. The whole planet was shaking. The atmosphere was already beginning to thin. There was no time left. "No," she said finally, her voice steady. "There has to be another way." Grant raised an eyebrow. "What are you suggesting?" "There's one place we can go. One last hope." Riza turned to the communication panel and began typing a series of commands. Grant frowned. "Commander, we have no ships left. No resources. The alien threat is gone, but Earth is." "I know," Riza interrupted, "but I've been working on something that could save humanity, if we can get to it in time." In the hidden base beneath Earth, Dr. Marlowe had been working alone for hours. The silence was heavy. The humming of the machinery was almost the only sound that filled the room. He turned as Riza entered. "Commander," he said, his voice tinged with fatigue, "we're out of time. The planet will be uninhabitable in a matter of days, maybe hours. You can't save it. You can only save the people." "I'm not saving the Earth, Dr. Marlowe," Reza said. "I'm saving humanity." "There's a difference." Marlowe's eyes widened. "You're talking about the Arcus project." Riza nodded. "It's humanity's last hope." The Arcus project was a secret plan, a backup for humanity's survival. Created long before the war, it was a massive, self-sustaining spaceship capable of housing billions of people. The Arcus could travel across galaxies. It was humanity's emergency escape, built to leave Earth in the event of a disaster. The only problem: it was never completed. Most of it was hidden deep in space, at a far-out research station, and no one, not even Riza, knew if it would still be functional. "We have to get there," she said. "If it's still intact, we can save everyone. The Arcus is Earth's last chance." Riza, Grant, and Marlowe worked together to finalize the plan. The remaining fleet, 3 ships, were patched together with the few remaining resources. They could make it to the Arcus, but the journey would take weeks. Weeks they didn't have. "We'll need every ship, every resource, every person we can gather," Reza said. "There's no other choice." Admiral Grant shook his head. "We can't even repair the shields. The fleet is barely spaceworthy. The journey could take months, and we don't know what's out there." Riza looked at him, her eyes hard with resolve. "We don't have that kind of time. The Arcus is our last shot. We're leaving now." With the final decision made, the fleet launched into space, barely holding together. The ships were battered from the war, but they moved as one, speeding toward the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Inside the ships, humanity's future hung in the balance. The survivors of Earth, those who had fought so hard to protect the planet, now found themselves fleeing their home. The war was over, but the true battle for survival had just begun. Days turned into weeks as the fleet pushed forward. Riza stood at the helm of one of the ships, staring out into the endless dark of space. Earth was gone. Her people were all that remained. "We have to make it," she muttered under her breath. "We have to." The fleet reached the coordinates for the Arcus project, but there was no sign of the research station. It was as if it had vanished. "Where is it?" Riza asked, her voice tight with frustration. "We should be there by now." Marlowe checked his screens. I don't understand. The station should be here. It's not far from here. The coordinates are correct." Suddenly, a bright flash appeared on the edge of the fleet's scanners. A faint signal, weak and distant, but it was there. "Is that it?" Grant asked. Riza nodded, her heart pounding. "That's the Arcus. Full speed ahead." The fleet raced toward the signal, but the dark of space seemed to stretch forever. Every moment felt like a lifetime. The survivors watched in silence, holding on to the hope that the Arcus would be there when they arrived. Hours passed, and then, through the darkness, the massive shadow of the Arcus project appeared. It was real. It was there. And it was their last hope. The Arcus project loomed ahead, a massive structure in the emptiness of space. Its size was unimaginable, a city built into a ship, designed to carry billions of people across the stars. The survivors of Earth had arrived. But would the Arcus still work? The fleet of battered ships approached, the lights of their engines dim against the vastness of space. Riza stood at the helm of her ship, her eyes fixed on the Arcus. It had been their last hope. Now it was time to find out if it was enough. "Captain Lin," Riza said, her voice steady despite the fear creeping inside her. "Prepare to dock with the Arcus. Everyone else, follow our lead." The ships moved closer to the Arcus, their hulls creaking from the strain. The docking process was slow, careful. They had no idea what condition the Arcus was in, or if it would even accept them. Inside the Arcus, the station hummed with life. Power had been restored in some areas, but much of the massive ship was dark. Dr. Marlowe checked the systems, his face filled with confusion and frustration. "There's power," he muttered, "but something isn't right. The main control room should be operational. We need to get to it." "Let's go," Reza said. She knew they didn't have time to waste. Earth had already been destroyed, and now their only chance at survival was this ship. The survivors were led into the heart of the Arcus, moving through corridors that had once been full of life. The walls were lined with old systems, their lights flickering on and off. Dust had gathered in places where people had once walked. "This place looks abandoned," Grant said. "Do you think it's even safe?" "It has to be," Reza replied, her voice tight with determination. "This is our future now. We can't give up." They reached the central command room, and Marlowe immediately began accessing the control systems. The screens flickered to life, showing readings of the Arcus. It was still operational, but barely. The ship had been built for emergencies, but it was never meant to run alone for this long. "We're lucky it's still functioning at all," Marlowe said, sweat beading on his forehead. "But we'll need to reboot the central engines. It's going to take time." Riza nodded. "Do whatever it takes. We don't have much time." The team worked quickly, trying to get the Arcus up and running. As hours passed, the power slowly began to return to full strength. The Arcus was starting to come alive again. Riza paced back and forth, staring out of the windows that looked out onto the endless stars. The silence was overwhelming. They had left everything behind. Earth, their homes, their families. All of it was gone. "We're going to make it right?" Lynn asked, her voice small as she stood next to Riza. Riza turned to face her, her face hard but filled with hope. "We will. We have to." Days passed as they worked on the Arcus. The survivors were tired, but they pushed forward. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the ship's engines powered up. The hum of life filled the Arcus. It was working again. Riza stood before the large window in the central control room, staring out at the stars. The Arcus was ready. The survivors were ready. Earth was gone, but humanity had a chance to start over. "Everyone, listen up," Riza's voice echoed across the ship. "We've made it. The Arcus is operational. It's time to leave. We're going to find a new home, a new future. Earth may be lost, but we are not. We will survive. We will rebuild." The survivors gathered in the control room, their faces filled with mixed emotions. Some were relieved, others mournful. Earth was gone, but they still had each other. They still had a future. Riza looked at the faces around her, each person a reminder of why they fought so hard. The sacrifices, the pain, the loss. It was all worth it for this moment, for this new beginning. "Set course for the nearest star system," she said to the crew. "We'll take it one step at a time." The Arcus moved slowly at first, but it soon picked up speed, heading out into the galaxy. The survivors watched as their home planet grew smaller, until it was just a distant speck in the vastness of space. As the days passed, life aboard the Arcus began to settle into a routine. There was still fear, still uncertainty, but there was hope. The survivors worked together to rebuild their lives, using what little they had left to create something new. They knew they could never replace Earth, but they could create a future they could call their own. Riza stood at the bridge, looking at the stars. Earth was gone, but humanity had survived. They had fought, and they had won. The Arcus sailed through space, carrying with it the last remnants of Earth's people. The future was uncertain, But for the first time in a long time, there was hope. Humanity would find a new home. They would rise again. The journey had just begun.